Trump is hailing a truce with China. He claimed that Washington and Beijing have a done deal on trade, while China released a cautious statement saying a framework has been reached to implement a consensus reached between the two sides. So Trump is saying deal is done while China is keeping it low key. In a social media post, Trump said, and I quote, "Our deal with China is done, subject to final approval with President Xi and me." Now, China, on the other hand, has left no doubt that a full deal is still in works and the two leaders are yet to sign off on it. It said that the talks were quote-unquote professional, rational, in-depth, and candid. It added that two sides have, in principle, reached a framework for implementing consensus reached by two heads of the state during the phone call on June 5th and the consensus reached at the Geneva meeting. Now, for context, the US and China talks happened in London this week on 2 days. Both officials had met to talk trade, and more emphasis was on the export of rare earth and magnets from China, easing of restrictions basically. In Geneva last month, China and US had agreed to a 90-day suspension of most of the 100% plus tariffs on two countries and all of these tariffs that they imposed. However, US then alleged that China violated the terms of agreement and imposed restrictions on rare earth exports still. Now, while Chinese side has not disclosed any progress made in London, Trump has announced that full magnets and any necessary rare earths will be supplied upfront by China, and likewise, US will provide China what was agreed to, including the restrictions on visa for Chinese students entering the US after imposing restrictions on them. Now he says that he never had a problem with Chinese students. Trump said, and I quote, "We are getting a total of 55% tariffs and China is getting 10%. Now, what he's saying is that these London talks led to a breakthrough which investors are not buying because the reaction was very muted on the stock market on June 11th. The details were very vague and unclear. It's hard to say which side is backing down, while Trump insists that MAGA flock made China bend its knee before the great deal makers. Critics say that he has had to retreat in the trade war he initiated. However, it looks like China had an upper hand here because the restriction on rare earth means a production problem for everything that people use, from washing machine to EVs, electronics basically, and China's monopoly in this front is unbeatable as of now because it accounts for about 60% of global mine production and 90% of the processed and permanent magnet output. But now the bigger question is it a deal or no deal? Well, it's the same deal that was reached in Geneva, so the investors were also not very happy. Tariffs are still in, lesser but still there. So the trade war might not just be over yet. Hence the muted reaction from investors. What do you think? Let us know in the comments.
If you like this video, then like, share and subscribe to ET Now. If you like this video, then like, share and subscribe to ET Now.